Such a joy to be with you all this morning. My name is Avula, and I am an immigrant. I was born in India, and when I was just 1 year old, my parents brought me to this country with the same dream that so many immigrant families share. This belief that America can be a place of opportunity and belonging. But I think, as some of you have probably experienced, belonging didn't always come easily. My family moved almost every year in those early years. I went to 5 different elementary schools. And some of the earliest memories I have that are just seared into my brain were those new first days of school, whenever they were, sometimes right in the middle of a school year. And I'd walk into a classroom full of faces that did not look like mine. And I tried to find my place among kids who already knew who their friends were, already knew who they would be sitting with in the cafeteria. And every one of those moves meant that we were starting over. We were trying to find connection. We were trying to find community. We were looking to feel seen, trying to find a place where I belonged. And as I came into adolescence, I started to reject the parts of me that made me feel like I didn't belong. I remember very vividly one day during my freshman year of high school, I had a bunch of classmates over for a group project. And I remember being overcome by this sense of shame about my life, about my home life, about my parents, shame about their accents, or the fact that you could see my mom's midriff because she was wearing a sari, or the fact that my house smelled like the lamb biryani that had been simmering for hours. All things that I love and cherish and celebrate now. But at the time, these were ways that we just didn't fit in. And so fast forward to my college years, which is when I first encountered Dr. Martin Luther King's vision of a beloved community. This idea where a society that recognizes the interdependent nature of all people, where the inherent worth of all people is valued and celebrated, and how through intentional relationship and care, a community could be healed. And that vision absolutely gripped me. I think it gave language for me to feelings that I had had my entire life, that the work of building community is the work of building belonging. And that's what has driven me ever since, whether that's in my role as a public health physician or as state social services commissioner, and now as Richmond's first immigrant mayor. I believe that we can and must build a community that welcomes. And I have a sense that many of you in this room share that vision. I know many of you in this room. I know many of the organizations that you guys represent. And I know that we share a deep love for our communities and that we yearn for them to be a place of welcome. We know what it means to see families that are struggling, but we also know what it feels like when the community rallies around them and shows up in the best of ways. And I really believe that we all aspire to live in a city that is more connected, more inclusive, and ultimately more hopeful. But we also know that that work is getting harder. The divisions in our country are deepening, the rhetoric is getting louder and harsher and more polarized, and increasingly, the work of creating inclusive and welcoming communities is being twisted into something political and terrible. And so I think it's more important than ever right now that we as the people of Richmond come alongside our refugee and immigrant residents, that we show them how much we value them, how much we see them as essential members of our community, that we celebrate them, and that we acknowledge that our city and our nation have been built and strengthened and sustained by immigrants. Over the last year, I've tried over and over in the role in the seat that I sit in to be able to provide steady reassurance that Richmond stands with our immigrant communities and that we aspire to be a place where every resident feels safe accessing city services, reporting safety concerns, engaging with their local government. I think our Office of of Immigrant and Refugee Engagement has done absolutely incredible work. Where's Carla? Carla, stand up. Carla and our whole team have just done incredible work to embed themselves in this community. and to be a place of trust for our local government. I don't know where we would be without your team, really. It's amazing. We at the city, we've commissioned a working group to identify different ways that we can offer more protections to our residents, and especially to those immigrants who, don't feel safe here, who don't feel connected, and just as importantly, those immigrants who have been a part of our community for a long time, and many who actually work for our city and are serving as faithful city employees. But we do have our work cut out for us, right? The unfortunate reality is that so many of the hardships facing our immigrant communities are because of decisions happening up at the federal government. And there are limits on what we can do as a local government. We've been very clear that we will not coordinate with immigration enforcement, but we can't prevent them from coming into our communities. And so what can we do? I think we in this room and the folks that we have influence over need to come together. We need to look out for one another. We need to be good neighbors by lifting up our neighbors in need. Know that I will do everything that I can as mayor to keep our community safe, but that the work that you guys do on the ground, that is the crucial work in our communities, because we cannot be a truly welcoming community without your efforts. So thank you. I want to leave you with the words of a former president. We lead the world because, unique among nations, we draw our people, our strength, from every country and every corner of the world. And by doing so, we continuously renew and enrich our nation. While other countries cling to the stale past, here in America, we breathe life into dreams. We create the future, and the world follows us into tomorrow. Thanks to each wave of new arrivals to this land of opportunity, we are a nation forever young, forever bursting with energy and new ideas, and always on the cutting edge, always leading the world to the next frontier. This quality is vital to our future as a nation. And if we ever close the doors to new Americans, our leadership in the world would soon be lost. So that was from President Ronald Reagan in 1989. These were his parting words at his last day in office. And I think about that last part. If we close the doors to new Americans, our leadership in the world will soon be lost. And things feel really bleak right now. Right? We are in so many ways actively closing the doors to new Americans. But I think about the rest of what he's saying, and I am inspired and reassured by the fact that this is the DNA of our country, guys, right? We were built on being a place of welcome. And you guys know that better than anybody, right? So many of you in this room spend your days helping newcomers from everything from getting doctor's appointments to getting stably housed to finding job placements, right? You are ensuring that this is a place of welcome. And through those efforts, you're building relationships, right? You are being inspired by these incredible stories. You are seeing people's stories of resilience and triumph, and you're finding healing and wholeness in the beloved community that you are building. And so thank you. Thank you for the work that you do. Thank you for spending time here today, for sharing with each other what's working, but also for being open to hearing how we can do better, how we can be a more welcoming community. And I hope that this time is well spent, that you guys have an amazing summit today. Thanks so much for having me.